Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to get Rise Vision digital signage software on the Raspberry Pi. Here's what you're going to need to complete this project. A Raspberry Pi, I'm using a Raspberry Pi 3 for this project, a mini SD card, a 5-volt power source, an HDMI cable, and a USB keyboard and mouse. Now once we have all these things ready to go, we can jump into Pixel and download Rise Vision on the Raspberry Pi. Alright, so once we're in Pixel, there's some things you want to do first, and that's change your password to the Raspberry Pi, and also to connect to some sort of internet so we can access the Chrome store. So let's go ahead and go into Chromium. Now when you're in Chromium, make sure you're signed into any Google account, or really just the Google account you plan to use this digital signage for. Now the link I'm putting into the address bar I'm going to put down below just because it makes it a lot easier for you guys to get to it, and it's going to take us to the Chrome web store. Okay, so it brings up the Rise player and we're going to add that to Chrome. Now that the Rise app has been added into Chromium, we're going to go ahead and start this app. So since Rise Vision isn't talking to this player yet, it's going to show you this error where it says display ID not specified. Just hold on and we're going to go through the steps to have your Rise Vision account talk to this display to display a presentation. Okay, so back at your desktop computer, we're going to go to risevision.com, and if you don't have an account, we'll click the sign up for free button. Sign in with Google, choose your Google account. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to finish up with some of the details they need to finalize your account, and we'll create this account. Next, we're going to click Displays. We're going to add a display. And you can name your player anything you want. I'm just going to use Raspberry Pi for this tutorial. Okay, so now you've got your display ID down here at the bottom, so you're going to want to write this down so that when we take it over to the Raspberry Pi, we can link up these services. Back at your Raspberry Pi, we're going to go ahead and enter that display ID. So go ahead and enter your display ID, click Apply. So now your display is linked. But since there isn't a presentation that we've assigned to this Raspberry Pi, it's still saying this display has no presentations or web pages scheduled. So let's go ahead and do that. Back at your desktop on the Rise Vision website, you can see that your status is now showing up as online. So that's a good sign. It shows that everything's connected and they're talking to each other. You can see here on the resolution that mine's a little wonky, and this is because I'm just plugging the Raspberry Pi into a capture card. But if yours is into a television or a monitor or whatever you're using, it should be fine. So let's click Presentations, add a presentation. With Rise Vision's free account, they have a bunch of free presentations that you can choose from and edit. So we're just going to use those for today, but you can upgrade your account where it allows you to import your own presentations or your own files. Let's go ahead and pick this one right here. Okay, now we've got the presentation inside of an editor mode where you can make all sorts of changes to the text, to some of the pictures, to what's showing, to what's not showing. But just for this tutorial, we're just going to run straight through this and just use what's already up there. Next, we're going to go and click Schedules and All Displays 24/7. We're going to add a playlist to this schedule, and we're going to choose our presentation that we picked earlier. There it is right there. We're going to go ahead and select our presentation, then click Add, and then you want to click Save so that it saves everything you've done so far. So back at the Raspberry Pi, we can now see that our presentation that we picked earlier is now playing on our Raspberry Pi. And with a little more time and tinkering, you can take your presentation and make it more customized to exactly what you wanted to say, whether it's changing the design or changing any of the text, but also including photos, videos, calendars, and things like that. So this is a pretty simple project to put together with the Raspberry Pi, and it's cool to be able to maybe utilize a monitor or a spare television that you have laying around that you might want to display some information, whether it's calendars, whether it's videos, whether it's family pictures, or maybe even utilizing Rise Vision to work inside of another project that you're doing with your Raspberry Pi. So I hope this was a pretty easy tutorial to follow. If you guys have any questions or comments on the video, just leave them in the comment section.